How does this band come together? A few years ago.
This started years ago. You know, Tom, and when I was on tour with Mudvayne, like back in the day, we did a lot of touring with Nothing Face.
Right.
You know, we did Went and Tattooed the Earth. They were on that. We did some headlining stuff and took them out. And me and Tom just like were instant brothers, just like the Trouble Twins, man. Like we were always, you know, just boozing and having fun, you know, getting drunk and stuff. We always talked, you know. It's like you always want that thing that you can't have, you know what I mean? It's just like, man, you know, we should start this band and blah, blah, blah. You know, there's so many different names, like multiple stab wounds and all this stuff. It was basically like, you know, it was me and all the dudes from Nothing Face.
Gotcha.
Basically, except for Matt. And we went out, me and Jerry flew out to Baltimore. Okay. We wrote one song, which is Waging War, which made the first HELLYEAH record. We wanted to put that on the record just because we kind of always felt like that was like that kind of started HELLYEAH, so it deserved its place on the record. But you know, I was going down. We talked to a few different drummers that are pretty high-profile drummers, and you know, it's hard to get people that are in bigger bands to commit to something like this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it really just started as a side project, you know what I mean? The initial idea of it. And then, you know, as we kept going, you know, like, you know, these drummers were contacting us back, and then, you know, Jerry called me, and he was like, you know, what do you think about Benny Paul? I'm like, what? You know,
yeah,
like,
right.
Holy shit, you know, this is like, you know, a lot more high profile than any other drummer that we had talked to. He's like, yeah, man, I've been talking to him, you know, he hasn't committed to it, but whatever. I was like, all right, whatever. You know, and just kind of kept talking about it. You know, there were so many different, like up until that point. This is like over the course of like, not talking to Vinny, but the course of trying to get this band to happen. It was over the course of a few years.
Wow. Okay.
You know what I mean? But I had commitments with Mudvayne. They had commitments with Nothing Face, and they did another band called Blessed in Black and stuff. And they were doing a bunch of different stuff. We could just never get time to do it. And then, you know, one day Jerry called me. He was like, you know, Vince wants to talk to you. And I was like, holy shit, you know, okay. And I was like, what's his number? And he gave me his number. And, you know, I remember looking at my wife going, you know, I was looking at my phone and looking at my wife, and I'm like, I'm going to call Benny Paul. She's like, what? You know, she wasn't really that stoked about me doing this.
Right.
Obviously, you know what I mean? I was already really busy with London. And she's like, you're going to do another band? You know, and then it was like, Benny Paul? Okay, yeah, you got to do this. So, you know, I called him up on the phone, and we talked to him, we got on really good. He's like, you know, man, I'm not really into the super heavy stuff, because, I mean, it was supposed to be like all screaming, no singing.
Gotcha.
That's where the idea of the band came from. He's like, you know, I'm more into groove. And I'm like, well, duh, yeah, you know, I get it. And then, so I talked to him I got off the phone, and I remember looking at the phone, 14 minutes and 38 seconds. And I was like, holy shit, that was awesome, you know. And he, you know, he's like, you know, why don't you guys come on down to Texas, and we'll see what happens.
Right.
And fucking cool, you know, right on. So it's like 3 weeks away. I hadn't heard from him again. 2 weeks away. Still hadn't heard from him. A week away, still hadn't heard from him. I'm calling people around the band going, are we really doing this, dude? Like, I've had one conversation with this guy. I'm going to get on an airplane tomorrow, you know, and go to Texas to write a record. Like, you got to be shitting me, you know. And they're like, yeah, man, just do it. I'm like, all right, whatever. Get on the plane, fly down there, you know, walked in his house, like, kind of looking around. It's kind of Pantera Damage Plan Museum. You know, like, looking at stuff. Awesome. He just kind of comes walking in, you know. He's like, hey, what's going on? Okay, what's up? He's like, come on right back, let me show you what I built you. We're like, what? You know, and we go out on his pool deck, and he built these, like, we call them the cabanas,
okay,
or whatever. But it's basically 4 rooms that have a DVD player, bed, air conditioner,
right,
heater, ceiling fan, light, like your own little cell, you know. So, I didn't even know the guy, and he built his house. You know what I mean?
Awesome. And
it was cool because, you know, we go to the studio that night. And, you know, he was, you know, noticeably nervous. You know, about going back in. You know, we went to Dime's house. It was in Dime's garage where they had the studio Chasing Jason, which is where they did, you know, Trendkill. They did Reinventing there. They did some stuff in there for 101 Proof. They did, you know, whatever. You know, they mixed it there, I think, one of them. And they did Damage Plan there, and they did Rebel Meets Rebel there. You know, there's been a lot of great stuff that's come out of that garage, you know. And so he was really uncomfortable, and we got in there and we started going, man. Next thing you know, it's you know, 8 days later we have 7 songs. We wrote 7 songs in the first 8 days we were there.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. And then all of a sudden it was like, this isn't even a side project. You know, this is a band. Like,
right.
We were like, it would have been a side project if we would have felt like the songs were like subpar. But we really believed in the tunes, and it just turned into this thing. You know, that was just, you know, we fly a certain flag. You know, being in Hell Yeah. You know, we just kind of walk around with our fists and fingers in the air, and like, fuck you, and this is us, and let's get drunk. You know, we're about having a good time.
Right.
And that's literally, we live our entire life to have a good time, and it's a pretty fucking fun way to live.
Right. Now you recorded the second album there as well.
We did the second record at Vinny's house.
At Vinny's house, okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Which is really interesting, because like when we did the first record, I could at least leave and like go to Dime's place. You know, like we drive across town.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's kind of that separation from work and home.
Right.
You know, this was like that moment in like, I don't know if anybody's ever seen What About Bob, where he's like,
sure.
Time to go to work. You know, he takes the time clock and he hits it. You know, he takes the phone off the hook, and he's like, you know, working at home, it's weird.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, man, how the fuck am I going to get motivated? You know what I mean? To like, I like to be able to put myself into a workspace to work. This is work. I kind of struggled with it for a little bit. I mean, there ideas were coming and songs were coming and stuff, but I never felt, at least in the beginning, as comfortable as I did over at Chase and Jason at Dime's place in his garage, because there wasn't that thing that separation from work and home. But the more we got it going, I mean, you know, we isolated all the cabinets on this record. We put them up in the game room. He set his drum kit up. He's got like 45-foot ceilings in his house. You know, and he's got a permanent Christmas tree that's always set up. You know, or whatever. And he set his drums up in front of the Christmas tree, and we just went for it, man. And I mean, it sounded really great. Just like the tones on this record are way better. I think the audio on this record is just the mix. Everything about this record is we just made a better record than the last record. I think the songs are better, they're more thought out. The first one was an experiment. You know, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. Like I said, we wrote 7 songs in 8 days.
Right.
That's not thinking. That's you know, for every action there's a reaction. You know what I mean? That's acting on something. Right? Just getting in the groove and going with it. But we write really easy together. Like there's no bullshit. There's not a lot of banging heads. There's, you know, guys come in with a riff, man, we get going, and you know, Vinny starts kicking a beat, and it's awesome the way that we do these records or whatever. We don't demo. Like we don't demo the record and then go back and re-record the record.
Right.
We capture everything on the fly. Like
you guys have been out touring for a couple weeks.
Just a couple weeks, yeah.
Playing some of the new songs off Stampede, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're actually playing Cowboy Way and we're playing Stampede. Those are the 2 we're playing. We were playing Death That Omen Pay. It's another. You know, we're playing pretty much the heavier stuff right now.
Okay.
The single hasn't hit radio yet.
Right.
It comes out June 1st.
Right. How's the response been live?
It's
like
been
Cowboy
great,
Way,
man. You know, it's been
Stampede.
great. I mean, we're kind of ready-made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, me and Gregor and Mudvayne, Thompson, Nothing Face. It's a very credible band. Bob was in Damage Plan, very credible band. Vinny was in Pantera. Come on. You know what I mean? So we're kind of like, when we hit the stage, people they kind of know what they're going to, you know, we put Cowboy Way out there or whatever, but we've been getting really good, you know, really good feedback from like songs like Stampede that aren't out there. Like,
Right.
that people don't even know what the fuck it is. It's just, it's so moving. You know,
Right.
it's just like the vocals very staccato, you know, just like everything follows like this groove that's just slamming, you know. Right. So
I'm looking forward to that tonight.
Yeah, it should be cool.
Right.
It's been a good time.
Chad Gray, thank you very much. Elvis, however you want to go.
Thank you very much.